Hey guys, Courtney here from Allegheny County Library System. I'm here with another Wellness Wednesday. This time we're doing things a little different. We have owner and president of Kickmasters Karate, Rick Rando. Kickmasters Karate is one of the largest open space martial arts schools in the country. He's also the head facilitator at RandoSpeaks, which is a business that speaks about empowerment and leadership and a lot of awesome things in Allegheny County. I'm super excited to have you here today, Rick, and have you talking about wellness and be a part of this conversation. So welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored and I'm excited to share exactly what it is that we do with the great people of Allegheny County. And we've been doing it for quite some time now. So I'm assuming if you're watching in and you don't know who we are, first of all, hello, welcome. And if you do, welcome back, because we've been in this area for a while, for a long time.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. We don't want to keep our video too long. So I just have a few questions to kind of ask you to help our viewers get to know you. So first, explain how you got involved in karate and why you chose to make it a focal point of your personal wellness.
Sure. Well, that's sort of an interesting story. So when I was little, my sister, her name is Gina, she wanted to be, a martial artist. She wanted to take on the world like Karate Kid style. So my parents found a karate class and took her. And on the very first day, I remember sitting on the side, I sort of folded my arms and I said, this is not for me. You know, they're flying around in pajamas and doing the yells. And I'm like, this is not, I'm a basketball player. This is what I want to do. So, I watched her take class for about 2 weeks. And back then you could ride in the front vehicle, the front seat of a vehicle. So of course we were heading somewhere and my sister yells shotgun. And at the time she's 6 years old. And I said, I don't think so. Big brother at 9, I was 9, back seat lady, okay? And she gets in this fighting stance. She goes, ha, like that. And I was like, holy cow, like my 6-year-old sister's gonna beat me up. So I decided right then and there to take martial arts for self-defense purposes against my 6-year-old sister. So that's kind of how things got rolling in my world. And I am 40 years old now. So, 32 years later, here I am still doing martial arts and still having fun and still living my best life, and now I'm teaching those 5- and 6-year-old kids how to be empowered and how to be confident and how maybe to claim shotgun when it's their turn.
That's a great story. You're also known for being an inspirational speaker that helps people establish and meet their goals. What is some advice you would give to people who are trying to meet some of their personal wellness goals?
Well, here's the thing. There's many things. First of all, if you think it, ink it. Okay, so if you think about doing something and you want to learn a new language, you want to start a new exercise routine, you want to lose weight, you want to, I don't know, maybe you want to start gardening, like literally write it down. If you write it down, you give it life, you give it purpose. And all of a sudden now, what you write down, you can now track. Because if it's sort of this abstract thing in the air, one day I'd like to go to Paris, honestly, for the most part, that probably won't happen. But if you say I would like to go to Paris by 2030, and then you can start saying, okay, well, if we're going to make that happen by 2030, well, what do we have to do in 2025, in 2021 to start saving for that trip? Or do we need a new passport? Do we need the converters? I mean, so you start can sort of working backwards if you write it down. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to make sure you have a tangible goal. Like, obviously you want to set something that you've never done before, just outside of your comfort zone. But also if you say, okay, I'm 42 years old, I want to play in the NBA. Okay, that's a great goal to have. Believe me, Master Rando, you can do it. You can wear the shoes and, you can show up on time. But at 42, playing in the NBA with no prior experience, that's going to be really hard. So for me, that probably would not be a realistic goal. An excellent vision. I mean, it would be fantastic if that's sort of something that I've always aspired to do. But you've got to make sure that it's tangible. So 1, write it down. 2, make sure it's tangible. 3, give yourself a timeline. All right. So give yourself a reasonable timeline. So if you say I want to save for Paris, again, back to that example, in the next 10 years, that's reasonable. In fact, it might even be too long. You might be very different place with your health in 10 years. Maybe not wait that long. But if you say I'd like to go to Paris next week, that may be a little bit hard to manage. Okay, it's a reasonable goal. If you have the money, then it's attainable, but it's not a reasonable time frame. Just not even having a passport or just the travel restrictions and just what that planning would be out of town would be extremely difficult in a month's notice. So those are kind of the top three. But then the other thing too is discipline. And this is why martial arts translates so well in the real life, in the real world, because you have to have discipline to practice and to show up and to be organized and prepared and know your terms and know your material, and also have the courage to then pursue those things and also not be afraid to fail. And you know, the funny thing is when I look at our classes right now, is the smallest class we have here is the adult class. And it's not because that we don't have adults that want to do it, because we all grew up with the Ninja Turtles and, you know, Karate Kid and so on and so forth. It's that most adults are too busy giving their time and energy to other little humans, i.e. kids and their parents that might be sick, or, you know, volunteering at church and stuff. And they forget that they themselves have to have discipline, either through weight loss or the practice or making sure that you're on time and being prepared. So the other thing is discipline. Self-discipline is the strongest thing, the most important tool that you can give yourself. And that comes from goal setting, goal achieving, and also patting yourself on the back from time to time. Listen, we're in the middle of a pandemic. If you've survived this far and you have a smile on your face and you're still not getting frustrated when you hit every red light on the way to work, that you're winning life right now, okay? Survive in advance. You know, in martial arts, that's one of the biggest things that we teach, especially when we start sparring and board breaking and so on and so forth. So yeah, those are my sort of pieces of advice for achieving goals. You know, I would just say one other thing, that, and I said this the other day on my RandoSpeaks, you know, Facebook page. Listen, when you're going through the uncontrollable, your attitude will determine your level of misery. And I really believe that that is the case. Either your attitude is going to determine whether something is horrible or something's amazing. And there's a lot of people struggling right now, hurting businesses and people with jobs, losing jobs and losing opportunity. But, you know, your attitude has to continue to be perseverant. That's where that discipline comes in. You know, the strongest leaders in the world are not shaken by little things.
Absolutely. Going back to kind of health and wellness, can you explain some of the health benefits, wellness benefits offered by martial arts and karate? You've mentioned discipline as something, as a wonderful benefit, but what other things?
Sure. Well, the average child right now, 60%, this is pre-COVID numbers, are obese. So 60% of our children are obese. I would say that if we tested that now, after maybe 5-6 months of lethargicness across our area, that number, especially here, is going to be extremely higher, especially in impoverished areas, or, you know, counties that aren't so economically abundant, if you understand what I'm talking about here in Allegheny County. So I would just say that right now for kids, you're getting them moving. The second thing that we're sort of seeing is the social element. So kids, because they've been isolated so long, at least right now, they're around their friends again, obviously socially distant with masks and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, we temp screen, we do the whole thing when you come in. Believe me, we're exceeding any standard given by the CDC. But what they're doing is they're able to be around other humans again. They're able to smile and you know, give elbow bumps and, you know, waves and have meaningful conversation with other kids their own age in a physical, tangible setting. You know, you go to the teen level, that's extremely important, because isolation is really hurting our teens right now. And just the ability to feel wanted, like they're involved in a community where there's zero tolerance for bullying here. There's a zero tolerance for people that are lazy here. And all of a sudden now you come to a place where you're motivated, you're inspired, you work hard, and everybody's so nice. Like, why would you ever want to leave? But I'll just give you one other little tiny tidbit as far as the adults are concerned. So we had a gentleman that came, his name was Louis Varndell. Louis doesn't mind me sharing his story. And Louis went to an amusement park many years ago, and he went to ride a roller coaster. And guess what? He couldn't fit. That means that his kids, they waited in line, they go all the way to the front, and Louis had to grab his two kids and say, okay, well, we can't ride. And he felt about this big. And his son was already in martial arts. And he pulled me aside and he told me this story. He said, hey, can you help me? He said, I don't know if I can do this karate stuff, but can you help me lose weight before I start? I said, buddy, dude, Louis, that's what martial arts is. You get here, you're going to lose weight here. It doesn't matter if you can't touch your toes or you can't do one push-up or one jumping jack. You get on the floor, I promise, your body will start responding to that exercise, right? So anyway, lo and behold, 2 years later, Louis lost 120 pounds in our program. This is a true story.
Amazing.
120 pounds. He went back to that same roller coaster with his kid, and now his daughter, which was old enough to ride the ride now, tall enough, they all rode. He came back, literally, you know, he sent me a video. He's in tears. He's like, thank you, Master Rando, you saved my life. Unfortunately, Louis doesn't live around here anymore. He works for the government, very hush-hush. Can't tell where he is. But true story, you know, of what martial arts can just do for somebody that's willing to say yes, set a goal, and then follow it through. That daily discipline allowed him to lose, 5 pounds a month for 2 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. Other than martial arts, Kickmasters also offers other classes for people looking to change up their fitness routine. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Sure, absolutely. For women, we have cardio kickboxing. We sometimes call that the cardio box, balance, and burn. That class actually meets on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. and Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. It's all female, taught by female senior instructor, senior master instructor, Mrs. Julie O'Connor. She's fantastic. She's been teaching that class over 20 plus years. We also have Krav Maga. Krav is an Israeli martial art, and it's strictly for self-defense and fitness. So it's kind of like P90X versus like, mild cage fighting, if you kind of have an idea what that is. That class is actually on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30. We also have a variety of classes. Obviously, once COVID ends, it's going to be a little bit different. Like we have weaponry and heavy bag class and pad classes and self-defense and sparring. We get a chance to be a little more physical. Right now during the season we're in, we're doing a no touching thing here. So no class do we actually touch. We still do pads, but they're sanitized between each child, and we rotating those out to keep everybody safe. But I would suspect in 6 months this is going to be very different. We'll be back to our same selves here. We're able to get up close and personal pretty quick.
Actually, that leads into my next question. How excited are you to get Kickmasters back to normal? I'm sure it'll be great to see all the students and families return with that full normalcy, hopefully soon. I mean, how excited are you, and what policies and things do you guys have in place?
So I would just tell you that, one of our models here is average is forgotten. Okay. So for us, being normal, not okay. We don't want to be normal. We want to be exceptional. We want to be amazing. We want to be the most mannerly, most polite person in the room. So when we say normal, getting back to normal is just like, for us, normal would be the touching again, the sparring and the contact. Other than that, we shifted almost immediately to an online model for 3 months while we were closed. We still had students achieve belts, achieve stripes, still get that interaction one-on-one with an instructor. Then we opened back up in June, and that was with a resounding pat on the back. And one of the things that I think we all can learn from is perseverance is so important. Not to limit yourself by your circumstances, but to only limit yourself by your ability to push through. Again, we can look at it two ways. We can go in the fetal position and go in the corner and cry and say, this isn't fair, and I want my mommy. And look, Superman's not coming. Okay, Wonder Woman, she's not coming either. So you being your own superhero is exactly what we teach on the floor each and every day, right? You rely on you rely on your best effort. And our motto here, especially during this COVID, is winners work. So I'll just be honest with you, in 7 months, I've taken 2 days off in 7 months. One was for my birthday and one was for Father's Day. Okay, I think two things are really important in somebody's life. And other than that, I've been here every single day, every holiday, every Sunday. And it's just because, hey, listen, if I'm expecting you as a student and I say, listen, winners work, I want to be the utmost example of that. So as far as normal is concerned, I'm just ready to sort of be able to go and be comfortable again. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a hugger. Okay, so I'm ready to hug people again. All right. So Courtney, if you were here, and it's post-COVID, 2022, after the interview's over and we're going to hug, we're going to do a, fist bump. We're going to do like a bro hug kind of, thing. And right now we just do waves and elbow bumps, and that's, I just can't wait to hug people again.
Oh, that's great. All right, one final question before we get into your little intro. So since we are a library system, this is a question I ask everybody. Do you have any books or any resources that have inspired you, whether in your wellness journey or in your life, that you could share?
Sure, absolutely. So I have 3, okay? One is called The Go-Giver by Bob Berg. That's an exceptional book about being able to serve other people and just be a great human being. Sometimes we kind of forget about that, that we're all trying to lift each other up, especially in a small community. Uncommon by Tony Dungy is another one. And I really like, there's a book that Bear Grylls wrote, and it's called For My Sons. I think that's what it's called. That's another really good one for dads out there. And I'm a big Disney fan, big Disney geek, nerd, whatever you want to call. I love The Customer Rules by Lee Cockrell. And I think that if you're really looking to serve people, serve other humans with a great spirit, that's a fantastic book as well. And of course, any kids books. Shel Silverstein's great. He really inspires me. And you know, if you get a chance to have, you know, kids that are hesitant readers, you know, I really love The Diary of the Wimpy Kid. I think those books are so much fun, and my son loves them. We read them almost every night. I mean, there's so many of them. I think there's like 20 plus of those books now. We have them all, and they're just great. So.
Well, thank you. You gave more than one, which I always appreciate. You know, of course, I'm in the library system today, so I'm surrounded by books, and I think we have a few behind me, including
just a couple, right?
Just a couple. You know, maybe 10 of those Diary of a Wimpy Kids somewhere on that kid stacks
right there.
Me. So, you know.
What are you waiting for? People get in there. Get to the library.
All right. So that was our final question. I'm going to give the floor to you if you'd like to give a little demo or an intro to martial arts or karate.
Sure. So here's the deal. So let's say that you're watching this, you're sitting at home, and you don't think you personally could do anything. I'm going to show you 3 things that you could do to help keep you safe. And, you know, we teach some of these in our women's self-defense seminar. I teach these in some of my empowerment seminars, but I'm just going to give you 3 things that you can do if you're sitting on the couch. Doesn't matter your fitness level, doesn't matter if your experience level, that I'm going to give you 3 things to help keep you safe. Okay. The first thing is really, really simple. All right. So I'm going to back up a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. So the first thing is we're going to give somebody a high five. Everybody can do that, right? So anytime that we're in an uncomfortable situation, what we can do is we put our hands up like this, okay? And we put our thumbs so they almost touch. And we're gonna put our hands out here. So our body starts out here is where the boundary starts, not when we put our hands down, it starts right here. So the first thing we're gonna do is take a step back. Either way, it doesn't matter. Put your hands up, right? Just like this. And this says from a distance that this says stop. In any language, this says stop, okay? So if I'm an observer and I'm watching an altercation from 10 feet away, 20 feet away, 50 feet away, and I can't hear what they're saying, and one person's going like this and the other person's going like that, I already know who the good guy is and the bad guy is just from the start. Okay, so the first thing is we put our hands up, and we're going to do a high five. So a high five, we just take either hand, and we're just going to go straight out, boom, and we're going to aim with the palm right here, and we're going to aim right at the bridge to the bad guy's nose like that. You want to try it with me, Courtney? It's pretty simple, right? Ready? All right, so it's going to come straight out, boom, straight back, like we're going to give each other a high five. Straight out, boom, and straight back. Good. Yeah, you can do it with either hand. Now, the good thing is that this hand is pretty big. So even if I'm aiming at the nose on this part, right, if I'm too high, I can still get the forehead to go back. That brings that forward. If I'm too low, right, I can still get here and maybe the fingers in the eyes. So remember, self-defense only. Kids don't try this on a sleeping grandparent, okay? So we do our palm strike, go straight out, boom, straight back. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're going to pretend that we're at a wedding. Okay, and that we're the one making the toast. Okay, so again, we put our hands up. This is that defensive position. We take our hands, we open our hands, and we make the letter C, just like that. And that hand's gonna come straight out, just like that, and straight back. So it goes straight out, straight back. So it kind of goes like this, right, from the sides, straight out, boom, straight back, just like we're holding a cup. And that C is gonna go right here against the bad guy, boom, right to the throat or the carotid region, okay? So that C, like we are going to make a toast at a wedding, goes straight out, boom, right to the throat, and that, of course, will affect the breathing, potentially could affect blood flow to the brain, and most importantly, if you get hit hard enough, right, you could even do some damage to the larynx or the voice box, making it difficult to breathe and or chase after somebody once you run away, okay? The last thing is, I'm going to go ahead and show you the last thing. It's called an ear slap, and it's one of my favorites. It's so easy, and everybody can do it. So we're going to pretend that, again, we're at a rock concert, you know, your favorite band. You know, I'm a big Matchbox 20 fan, so we're going to pretend that we're clapping, standing ovation. We want the band to come back on. So all we do, we put our hands up just like this. The hands are they're going to cup them. You're going to cup your hands like this, like you're going to hold like a little bug or something in your hands. You just cup them, and they go all the way out, and they come right in front, just like that. And the cupping, just like that, is going to go right to the sides of the ears. You can see that? They go right here. So boom, on the bad guy, boom, just like that. Okay, and what we're doing is we're flooding the ear canal with air. Okay, and also that causes extreme disorientedness. Okay, because your ears really affect your balance. So number one, we could rupture an eardrum. 2, we could send that air in. And 3, we disorient the person. So again, we are here just like that to the ears, and all of a sudden they get hit, And of course, they maybe, if they have a hold of you, they let go, or maybe if they're trying to grab your purse, and then you could, of course, run away, get away for help. So the three things again: palm strike, boom. Okay, throat strike, letter C, boom, and of course the ear slap, boom, just like that. Awesome, right? So now look, you just did martial arts, right? You didn't even have to stand, you didn't have to leave the library with all the awesome books. You could just sit there and now you didn't. Are you sweaty? You didn't get sweaty?
I'm not.
Okay, awesome.
That's the type of exercise I like. And just sit in my chair. No, actually, I usually teach yoga, but sometimes I teach chair yoga. It just is as beneficial.
So you're ready to go. So now,
I'm ready to go.
If anybody attacks you in the seated position, you at least have three things that you can try to do to get away.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing those three things to keep us safe and sharing a little bit about your story. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about wellness and joining us for this short little video for our Wellness Wednesday posts. Thank you again, and thank you to everyone who has watched. We'll catch you next week with our next Wellness Wednesday. I will include the book recommendations as well as the links to find more information about RandoSpeaks and Kickmasters in the description. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Courtney.